right. This is The Collective on Wednesday evening on WSME Enlightenment Radio Digital Broadcasting. I know I've been missing in action, but I've had a good reason. We'll talk about that at another time. In the meantime, I have the one and only J Dub, Johnny Walker. And vocalist extraordinaire, the first lady of Def Jam Recordings, Ms. Allison Williams. Yes, Queen Wave, everyone. So the reason why they're both here, and I got to pronounce it correctly because it's an acronym, the NAMFE. Did I get it right?
Conference. Think about like when you were growing up, you used to buy a package of nabs.
Okay. NAMFE conference.
Yes.
There you go.
From the 16th to the 28th of this month.
Yes.
And so we want to let you know that as professional women in the music industry, there is something for you. If you've been looking for a way to gather with collected souls, people who are like-minded, you want to know more about getting some assistance in the industry, networking with different people, this is the organization for you. And Johnny Williams and I go back to her Def Jam days.
When she was Johnny Walker.
when she was Johnny Walker for real. And Johnny Walker
she just put us together. She just made an Allison Williams and a Johnny Williams.
Did I do that? I'm so excited.
You took Johnny Walker and Allison Williams and made them Johnny Williams. I've been trying to do that for years, Michelle. How did you figure it out?
Finally.
Black girl magic. What can I tell you?
Because I'm going to tell you something. If she gets to be Johnny Williams, that means that my hair texture goes really well. Because Johnny has the most perfect hair. And
yeah, she always.
The perfect hair
from way back.
Across the board. Natural hair growing out of her scalp, down boots.
Let me tell you something.
I get a benefit from her being Johnny Williams. I get to get a good
Let me tell you something. When I met Johnny Walker, she had just gotten her position as senior vice president of Def Jam. And she walked in, she's walking down a hall and she had a little bit of an entourage behind her, right?
Uh-huh.
She had on the fly black suit, hair laid to the side.
Ooh.
And everybody's like, oh, here comes Johnny. Here comes Johnny Walker. Here comes Johnny. And I was like, well, who's this sister? I can't wait to meet her. And she was the most nicest, genuine, and big sister kind of like, she gave you that look.
If you were in New York, she gave you that Southern charm no matter where she was.
Yeah.
So it
give you that look. If you were like, it wasn't a side eye then. They didn't call it a side eye. But she gave you that look like, and she said, come on, girl. And we would crack up because you knew exactly what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny has always been an inspiration to so many people in the industry. But Johnny started out, and I don't know how many people know this, as a country western disc jockey. and to know that, this is the woman who promoted like Jay-Z and, you almost name it during that 90s period in Def Jam. You're like, country western? Really?
Well, that's just a tribute to her knowledge of music in general and what that business required. You know what I'm saying? She knew that. So with those two things in her skill set, she couldn't help but win. And she was a winner, chicken dinner. Yes, she was.
Yeah, she was.
Because I was, they are.
Yes, that is true. That is very true. But Johnny, how did you get from being a DJ to Def Jam? How'd that happen?
I think chance is a good word that I will use. The story that I like to share is I had Uh, um, I had given myself a goal of becoming a program director at a radio station when at that time they were saying women didn't program.
Mm-hmm.
So I had set myself a goal to be the program director of this radio station, and praise God, I actually became the program director. And one of the things that we didn't do, because we were the small station and we had the
Right.
big station in the market, so the big station in the market was playing all the rap, man. They was banging it out. So to individualize or personalize what I was doing, we didn't play rap. So we weren't playing any rap. So we was like, you know, we was grown folks music or whatever you want to call it, but we weren't playing any rap.
Uh-huh.
So I was at a conference, you know, back in the day, boy, you had to go to Jack the Rapper, the
Right. Impact.
and all of that. So I was at a conference, and so this really big, tall guy comes to me, Wes Johnson, love him to death, rest in paradise. Wes Johnson came to me. He said, "Okay, you need to meet my boss. You need to explain to my boss why you not playing my music." I'm black. It was like, I'm black, you black, we got black music. It's a black radio station. Why you ain't playing my music? Well, we playing your music. We just don't play your rap music.
Right. Right.
No, they wasn't having it. So he goes and gets Russell, and they gonna corner me about. And the song was it was an LL Cool J song, and it was like, baby, we was going back and forth. We was going back and forth. I'm like, you ain't gonna break me, honey, because I'm trying to win. And
Right.
I can't win with rap music because my competitor, who has more money, more of everything, I can't
Right.
win the same thing he doing. So we was just going back and forth. Man, they called me that Monday and offered me a job. That's why I said, Chance.
Hey, they said we can't beat her. She got to join
Right.
us.
She got to join us. She's
They
got to join
like,
us.
He just wants you to talk about the artist, the company, the brand, the music, the same way you did that station. Because they couldn't break you down. They was trying. They couldn't break me down. They offered me a job, man. I was like, I don't know nothing about rap music. I'm not that girl.
Yeah.
But they said some things that made it very appealing. Made it. My daughter always laughed at me. She was like, "Mom, you don't like rap music. Why would you do that?" Well,
And Johnny used to get happy when they would send me to her.
oh my goodness, that was my heart. Cause I'm like,
That's my next question. So, in this Def Jam world, how did you two meet?
Now, Johnny, if I remember correctly, this is before you became VP.
right,
You were regional, right?
right.
And
And
so,
then she was
they used
national,
to
right?
send the national, regional. They used to send the artists out, and they always sent me by myself. And then I'd meet up with my person wherever it was. So, so Johnny would have me for a few different areas. Now, Johnny, you could take over for that from there.
Oh man, it was just such a pleasure because I was so used to the other stuff. Every time I ever get along, they used to in early days they didn't like me. Well, first of all, like I said, I didn't have a real strong passion for the art form. It's just that for me, I could talk. I could do a believable talk, like I really knew what I was talking about. Like I really had. That's what.
Like you had a handle on it.
Oh,
but that's what you were supposed to do, right?
So it was like when the artists would come, I was just doing my job.
Yeah.
There wasn't no connection at all. Listen, man, my favorite Redman and Method Man. But it's funny how over the years we developed such a really close relationship. I developed relationships with all those artists, and it's just, it's just that when in the beginning, I just didn't. So Allison, man, she was singing all the "Just Call My Name,"
right?
Just My Luck, and she was singing those. I was like, that's where I want to be. And so I would put so much into it. Anytime I would create promotions just to get Allison because I was like, promoting stuff.
And she would promote promotions that weren't even scheduled to happen, and then she would make stuff happen once I got there, like just extra stuff.
I was doing whatever I could to get Allison. I'm like, okay, I don't want Flavor Flav.
I'll take Allison. Who else is coming? I'll take Allison.
So it was just like during that time, like I was very creative around the R&B side, which wasn't that much. We didn't have that much.
Right.
But, I just think that I was just doing a lot of things, and eventually it evolved into how do we apply this to hip hop and apply this to hip hop? And I think that I did things to make it work, but it was not what my passion was. But you know, it worked for me, and I eventually ended up in New York. But I remember those early days, man. I was like, I got to go where with who? Oh, no.
But the thing is Johnny, we bonded in a way that just forged a friendship,
Yeah.
you know. And then, you know, Johnny was raising her daughter, and her daughter was having the baby, and you know, we were there for all of those milestones and being promoted. And next thing you knew, she was in New York. I was like, really? How you gonna survive here in New York? This is gonna kill you for sure.
Straight up country girl.
I'm trying to tell you, you know, so all of those things, and we remained friends. Right? As I said before, I remember when she first started talking about NAMFE, and I kept saying, how are we going to remember all of these letters in the acronym? National Association of Black Female Executives in the Music. And I always, no, it's not industry, it's music. Music and entertainment.
Music and entertainment, right?
For the life of me, I used to have to sit the acronym in front of me and actually recite it just so I could get it all together. But it was an incredible idea, and it needed to be brought into fruition. And the thing is, it's timeless, and the time was then, and the time is still now. You know, that we're able to continue to see this organization lift up and connect.
Right.
And lift up and connect. So that's what this whole conference is about. And I'm just really glad that our not only our relationship from our early beginnings, but how it has forged itself over 30 years. And I'm still able to be a part of it.
Well, Allison, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your background before we do go into the conference. You started out singing how old?
I think I always sang, but I don't think I knew I could sing until I was like a tween or a teenager. My father was a jazz trumpet musician, a jazz trumpet player. He had a 21-piece swing band. His name was Bobby Booker. He was a band leader. So all of my early music, unlike a lot of my colleagues, was jazz music. And when you're a kid and you're singing jazz, you are very uncool.
Yeah,
you are very much a geek. And you are very much pounded upon for it. So I didn't have a lot going. I didn't have a lot to say to the world in terms of my singing. I was letting y'all know I could dance and I could act, things of that nature. I was quite limber, you know. The singing, but it was cool because I call myself a oops baby. I'm 10 years younger than my older sister. I was already in an older crowd because everybody else was already going about their business 10, 15 years ahead. So I was with my parents a lot, and I was with their circle. So that's what their circle was doing. I was doing it with them. When I got around my peers, I could just be quiet. And they didn't have to know they didn't have to know about my other life, which was fabulous. And I was going to the Newport Jazz Festival, and I was going to nightclubs, and I was passing out the music books at the, you know, I was.
Did you do some background? Were you doing background vocalist?
No, I was actually, well, by the time I was 16, I had my own charts made. My father had made charts for me, but I would get up on the bandstand and sing leads, And I knew all these great standards from the Great American Songbook, and I knew a few Jackson 5 songs, you know, but I was trying to balance it out because from my perspective, everybody else was doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to riff, and I wanted to be able to sing like Gladys Knight and Shaka Khan. And that was to me. And my friends that were going to church every Sunday, sometimes I go to church with them because I was raised Catholic, and we were hymning and they were singing.
Right.
And sometimes they'd be running up and down the lane. I'd be like, what's going on here? Because I didn't know about the Holy Spirit and catching all of that. I didn't know it. And it was just amazing that I had to put all of that in my mind and process it into what I would eventually sound like and what I wanted, you know, to be able to convey in terms of my musical expression. So I started off singing jazz, learned all the other aspects, got signed to a rap label, and now I'm back to my jazz, and I am officially the Forrest Gump of what I do. I've been all through it. I was on the big band jazz. I was singing big band jazz, going to the disco fever with Curtis Blow at night, and it was, the rest is history. Dancing in Harlem in the daytime. It was amazing. I've lived an incredible life. Wait for the biopic. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to say. Is there a movie? Is there a book?
It's coming. We're working on it now. We are in the beginning stages of it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you've been all over. you've done some very interesting things. You've put together some productions. You've been in some productions. I think most of us know you from your vocalist career and not necessarily being on stage as an actor. So I find that very intriguing because most people can do that. If they sing, some people can act. You got 50%. There's some people who can't sing but can act, and they train them. But it seems you're one of those people that it's natural for. Like you don't need the training to be on Broadway, so to speak.
Well, I believe that you're always trying to get better and hone your craft. So there's always something for me to learn. But I know that God did give me a special anointing to be able to do a lot of things that, as you say, come natural. And then when you're hungry and you want to be the best, you're constantly looking and gleaning. Even if you're not paying for a lesson, you're trying to get it. Even if it's just what you watch on a screen, you're going, okay, why? What was that choice about? How did that come about? What was that expression? What was that reaction? And you start applying it to your craft. And so that's, that's how I've always, and when you get around people, like I was lucky enough to have someone as incredible as Miss Cicely Tyson in my world. And I could sit next to her and ask her questions. I've had a chance to sit with a Ruby Dee and an Ozzie Davis. I've had, just when you have these people around you that you can get close enough to just get a question in here or there and know that they would pour positivity in your life. That right there
is everything. And to be a sponge and take all of that in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And absorb it well. And then
and the other thing that it makes you do is you also feel like you're accountable on a different level. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like if you know where you come from, you treat where you are a little bit better and you can see a little clearer where you might have the opportunity to go. And I think a lot of artists miss that. Because there's a lot of mentorship, everything is so immediate at your thumbs and instant gratification. And as I said earlier in an interview with Johnny, it's easier to sell crap than it is to sell quality. So you got a lot of crap out here and you got to weed through that. When you're young or whatever you are in your life or your career, trying to weed through all of that to get to the good stuff can be just an awesome challenge. But when you have somebody that you've had that moment with, or you've had that experience that you opened up and allowed it to touch you, then every day that you make a step, you make an ordered step.
Yeah.
As opposed to just jumping around.
And just being there and not sure.
Or just throwing it to the wind like I'm a phony.
Yeah.
No, I got to do this right. You know why? Because somebody gave this to me really nicely wrapped up in a nice bow, and I owe at least that. I owe at least that. So that's how I look at what I do.
So let's talk about the conference before we go into the break, because then once we go into the break, we'll get more in depth into the conference. Well, let me back up by asking, and I've been thinking about this all day because I was one of those women in the late 80s and early 90s who was a disc jockey on air, and I didn't do too bad. My time slot did very well because at first, it's midnight to 6, and it's one of these little stations. And nobody had ever tracked midnight to 6, right? So let me tell you about the little station that could. And you're probably going to know the names when I tell you. So our morning person was Dave Winter, better known as Doc Winter now in the industry. Then there was a brother named Bobby Owens who had just an octave higher than Barry White. Then there was a sister from North Carolina who was one of their top DJs named Connie Marshall. From Connie Marshall, we had Dave Dickinson, who is now at Sirius. Then on the weekends, it was Lenny Green, Bentley Clark, and oh my gosh, he'll kill me, and Doc. And we were the team. And so our numbers were so good that eventually what happened was Hector Hannibal was our program director. He and Dave left, and then everybody else left. I was the one that stayed. But midnight to 6, by the time everybody left the station, was one of the #1 overnights in Connecticut. And that
Mm.
was, because we were a team, right? And Hector was generous enough to me to say, hey, Shell, do this, this, and this. But I still didn't have the female mentor, right? And there were a bunch of us out here who were working and in the industry and really trying to make a difference. But there wasn't anywhere that we could go and gather and kick our feet up, not only as women in the industry, but Black women in the industry. So, Johnny, I know that, it was you, it was Miss Etheridge, it was Sylvia Roan, a lot of other folks like that who, we always used to see at conferences and kind of, grab your ear for 5 minutes. So where did the need, or I should say, when did you feel the need that NAMFE should come into existence?
Well, you already answered that.
Well, I don't want to presume.
No, hey, if the assumption is correct, let it be. Like you said, where do we go to put our heels up to talk about our issues? Where do we go where we have a voice? Where do we go where what we have to say actually means something?
Right.
Where do we go where there are other women that want to hear what we got to say? How come we not on the talking on the seminar? How come they got the seminar there and all the speakers don't look like us, but yet you still want my money. You still want me better registration, but nobody up there looks like me. And nobody up there is dealing with what I deal with. Nobody up there is a mom. Nobody up there is a wife. Nobody up there, the things that we have dual duties. We're expected to do all this stuff and still come home and keep the house. Still got to take care of the family. So it's just like a lot of things that were challenges for us. Like you just said, where do we go? And so as I'm climbing the ladder at Def Jam, and it's like, certain things happen. You're like, I'm a freaking senior vice president. What did you just say to me?
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. No, you got to flip that. Here's one of the things that really, when I knew I was going to do this, when people and like I said, I never took it in any negative way or nothing like that, because men are men and they're my friends and I love them. But, when people just like, they'll just say anything. They'll call you honey and they'll be like, hey, babe. I'm like, I see you vice president. Wait a minute. So I stopped responding. If they didn't say Miss Walker, I would like walk on like you weren't even talking to me. And so it was kind of like when Def Jam went from, I think we were on, I know we left from Elizabeth, we were on Varick Street. We went to 8th Avenue.
Hudson.
Oh, please. I really had to put it down then. I didn't have one name. My name was Miss Walker. That was the only thing I would answer to. And then it was kind of like, because over there was just all of us. All of us.
Yeah.
Over here, it was them. And then they would be like, like they would come in with a record. They have, no disrespect, please. It's no disrespect. But
right. But this is your truth.
I'm putting my heart and soul into this artist and this record. And because you have a bigger audience that is a white audience, then you take the record and you just fly off with it like superhero, like the Avengers or something. I thought that stuff was just really frustrating me. And then when you say, okay, you're the angry Black woman, I'm not no angry Black woman. I'm just reclaiming my space and
reclaiming my time.
I just want to be respected for what I do. And most of the Black artists, y'all don't care until we break them. And then when we break them and they're eligible, so you want to put it like that, they're eligible to come from the R&B charts or from the R&B world to the pop world. Now, okay, so now you take over. No,
right.
I was angry. Right. Probably why my time was getting close at Def Jam. But I'm like, I want people to grow. I want people to be, superstars and all of that. But don't discount what I'm putting in there.
Right.
So it was things like that. And I just kept saying, we have to have a voice. And if I'm the only person complaining, then I am an angry black woman. And they are
Yeah.
going to treat me like an angry black woman.
Yeah.
And then when we created the organization, there was a lot of like, okay, well, black women don't come together like that. Black women don't do it. Black women don't, oh gosh, still want to waste the time. We tried to go get a room to have a meeting at the Impact, and they was like, really? Nah, we're not having that. My favorite story, and then I'll quit. My favorite story to share is when we came together and we were introducing NAMFE to the industry, and we had put our money together, and we paid for a poolside reception. And we were so excited about our poolside reception. We had our little purple balloons, and we had all that stuff out there. And another person in the industry, a male, I'm not going to call any names, they wanted that time because they had a new soundtrack with R. Kelly on it, and R. Kelly was in the song was in the film, and they were going to have a poolside party, and then they were going to load everybody up on a bus and take them to see the film. And so it was just like, oh, listen, you girls can go over here at this time. We need time for this. And so it was a little bit upsetting because we had already paid for it. But they were trying to tell us, let's just move. So what happened, I just got a couple of my sisters, and I said, listen, here's the problem. They're trying to take our time. But we want to call in solidarity and say, we understand, we just don't agree. And so I said, I don't want you to say anything. I don't want you to say anything. I'm going to do all the talking. I just need them to know you're there. So we called, it was 6 of us. We called to say that, we understand you want to take our time. We don't agree with it. And we said what we had to say. And he went on with the whole explanation as to why it was best for this guy to take our time. So when we were wrapping up the conversation, I said, well, before you go, you need to be very clear. This person purchases all of the ads for Columbia. This person purchases all of the ads for Arista. This person purchases all the ads for Jive. But this person purchases all the ads. I named them all out. And I am responsible for placing all the ads at Def Jam. So you gonna get one ad and throw away 6. Well, you have a nice day. And like I said, and those ladies never did say that that's what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
Right.
I just put it out there.
Right.
And he was like, well, hold up, wait a minute, ladies.
Wait, no. Right.
Yeah, because money talks, right? Everything else walks.
We had our poolside party at the time that I knew
selected.
And I want to say this for the things that I saw, as an artist, and the way that the system could be run and how male dominated it was. And it was a thing where when you saw a Johnny Walker or you saw Laverne Perry, you just were, it was like an odd, it was so odd that you saw them, you would fear them. When they walked down.
I'm telling you, when I saw Johnny Walker walking down there,
Johnny Walker could cut you with her bangs, and they knew that. So that's what I'm saying. And Laverne Perry was only as big as a bottle of Coca-Cola. So it was like, well, she must be magic. So,
exactly.
but this is what I think, and I don't attribute anything, and I don't. I always believe that delayed is not denied. I know I got a lot of other things I'm trying to do, and I believe that I'll reach my goals. But I believe that I would be a lot further on in my career if there had been more women in places that could have supported me being one of the only females on the label, and an R&B artist as well. And if they could have been, and even when we did have a lot of women, they weren't united. They were either trying to chase behind the man and be subservient to that, or they just didn't know how to come together. They were, they didn't know how to, we can make it stronger. And we had a lot of women there.
There were a lot of women.
They were out for self, or they were trying to climb the ladder another way, or whatever the case would be. So I believe that there had been a stronger level of female camaraderie at Def Jam. My outcome might have been different. Maybe.
And in the industry too, I think.
Yeah. Because I can remember one time, Johnny, I don't think you were still there. What's the man's name that came in after you?
I don't know. Maybe Benny Pugh. I think Benny Pugh came after me.
No, maybe he was there at the same time. I can't remember his name. He was our first, to my knowledge, our first openly gay person. You know who I'm talking about. I can't call his name.
Oh, you're talking about David Harlison?
Huh?
Yeah, you talking about David Harlison?
I think so, yes.
I think David
Was he before or after you?
David was there while I was there, but
While I was there, okay. I say all that to say is one day I came in. One day I came into the office just to visit. I had already left, so this had to be after 1994. I had already gave my release from the label, and I just came to visit. And they were on that Wednesday conference call that they used to have. It was a big call that everybody would always be on. And I happened to be there, and he happened to be wrapping up. He says, "Oh, by the way, Allison Williams is here." And the people in Columbia were like, "What do you mean she's not on the label anymore?" They hadn't even discussed the fact that I was no longer an artist on the label. And, and the fact that they had spent so much money, and I still wasn't Anita Baker. I still wasn't at least Anita Baker. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind. I had videos for almost all my records. I had promotion teams. I went out and did everything I was supposed to do. I went to the mom and pops. I went to the rock jobbers. I went to the radio stations, to the record stores. I did all of that. And they spent all that money, and nobody couldn't figure out why I hadn't, taken the real leap.
Right.
And when I heard that they didn't even know I wasn't on the label anymore, it floored me. I was like, y'all are talking, aren't you? Y'all are embarrassed. Y'all spent a bunch of money and didn't get what y'all supposed to get from the store. Now you're scared to go home. Because you got a whooping. You're supposed to get a whooping. You done spent the money. You done played 3-card Molly outside.
The pockets are empty and you can't explain why, right?
Right. Listen, that's a true story. That actually happened. I was sitting there going, wait a minute, what do y'all mean y'all don't know I'm not on the label no more?
Wow.
It was like cricket. Wow. It was like cricket. I never saw anything like that before in my life.
But a lot of people say anything. They were scared to say anything. They just like, oh, what?
Well, let me take this break and we'll come back and finish the conversation, okay?
All right. Pay some bills, girl.
I gotta pay some bills. Gotta take that 30-second joint.
Come on. So,
this is WSME Enlightenment Radio, where positivity is everything. Digital broadcasting. This is The Collective with Michelle Turner. We'll return in a moment. Back on The Collective right here on WSME Enlightenment Radio. I have the good fortune of having with me today for a stimulating discussion, Ms. Johnny Walker of NAMFE. I can't still say it right. Why can't I get it?
NAMFE. Just think feminine.
NAMFE.
NAB. Like I'm gonna nab you. Nab like snatch you up.
Nab. And then fem.
Fem, like feminine, like for female.
Fem. And they're going to have a fantastic conference September 16th through the 28th. And Allison Williams.
I won't have no hair on my head if we go to the 28th.
16th to the 18th.
16th to the 18th?
Right.
Okay. I'm looking at my flyer.
Look at your flyer. Yeah, girl.
16th to the 18th.
Get me.
And the lovely and talented vocalist Allison Williams, the First Lady of Def Jam Recordings, is here with us as well to give her side of the story as an artist and what this means to her. So with that said, Allison, NAB, FEM.
There you go. Got it.
What does that represent for you? Why is it important to you? I mean, okay, so we've talked about the obvious, but why does it appeal to Allison Williams?
Well, as the tagline suggests, we are going to be talking about many things over the 3 days, and we've got those high heels in high places, right. But my specific Women Who Jam, I am the songs I sing and the music I create. It's important because a lot of times we go into these situations independently or in a corporate situation with a label in place, and we might not have or might not know what it is that how we want to be exploited or how we want to present ourselves on what platform. And a lot of times we could find ourselves being told what to do. I'm not saying that artists should not be developed and that shouldn't be a guideline, but there's a lot of times I believe we come in one way and we end up another. Or we come in one way, and even though it might sell records, you won't find anybody who's brave enough, because the money's flowing in, to say, you know what, we get that everybody has their own story, and that might be yours, but you might need to let's rein it in just a little bit. They're never going to tell you that, because when they say the N word, when we say the N word, we're not talking to them, and we're not talking to their wives, and we're not talking to their daughters. They live on another side of town, and they might let you buy into that gated community, but we're not talking to them. So why should you go to an artist and say, yo, man, you might need to roll it in a little bit. It's a little harsh. No, because that's going to he can't buy Cuban cigars like that. You can't have a Tesla and all of that if we stop saying the N-word and selling ourselves down the river and up the road. We can't. It can't happen. So nobody's going to tell you not to do that. And so it's important that we are the songs that we sing and that we are the music we create, because it's out there forever, and especially with the internet, it's in the world forever. And you want to have the ability to tell your story, but your story is not a blanket statement, and sometimes not even actually appropriate for each and every listener. But it's going to hit every ear, because it's going to hit the world. That's the times we live in right now. So I think for me, it's about taking a stand, knowing what is going to be appropriate for you, not only today, but for the models that come, if you're blessed enough to see them, and how you represent yourself in a world where no matter how outrageous you are, next week somebody else is going to be more outrageous than you. And they'll stop talking about you and start talking about them, because it's just like you don't, the attention span is like that. But what are you leaving behind? What do your Skittles look like? What are your Reese's Pieces? What is the trail you leave? And that's important, especially for women of color.
Yeah, it is. It means a lot, because
it really does.
9 times out of 10, we're doing things, whether we're in front or behind, but we never get the real respect that we deserve.
And it's hard to get the respect when the ones that do have the opportunity to be in front of or on the forefront or making the big bucks or who are celebritized, they're doing something that half of us wouldn't think about.
Right.
Doing in public.
Right.
So, or saying in public. So it's the sensationalism of the whole thing. Sex, drugs, rock and roll is how it is. It is what sells. I get it. But you got to figure out where you're going to stand on that line.
And not only that, like you said, it goes back to can't buy those Cuban cigars, can't have them 8 cars in the garage and an 8-car garage if I talk about that. It's almost like there was a time period, and I've had different people on before. We were talking about the state of Black music. And one of the things that they said to me was, you remember the Public Enemies and A Tribe Called Quest and Righteous Teachers and all these people who were promoting positive energy and positive things in our neighborhoods and talking about what it was real. The politics were real for them. And then all of a sudden it was like, we don't want to talk about that no more. We're going to shut them down slowly. We're going to start talking about a little bit more sex, a little bit more selling drugs, what kind of guns I carry. And I'm going to make a video where the female's there in her bathing suit, but she carrying an AK as I'm leaning up against my Bentley. And I was like, you know what? You got a point. Because like you said earlier, Allison, stuff happens so quick. And now
it happens so quick.
Is so different that people don't, it was almost like having the rug pulled from under you.
And the thing is this, whereas it all started out with, oh, this will never last. When we just had
Yes.
rap music before it became hip
Yes.
hop and all those, this will never last. And next thing you knew, it was a whole culture. Then it was a couple of generations brought up in the culture. And then you, like you said, you had these people who were not only summoning you to the dance floor, but dropping pearls of wisdom down your throat and telling you and giving you comparatives and showing what was happening on the political forefront and all of that. And that, if you create a culture that's knowledgeable, well, we can't control you. Well, we can't control that. We got, like you said, we got to shut that down. You're telling too many truths over here.
And not only that, but then we not going to pay attention to what you're trying to sell us over here.
What you are trying to sell us, right? Because we're going to want to consume some of that goodness that we keep getting, where somebody's telling us to love on each other. Somebody's telling us to let's get along. Somebody's telling us it's my girl. Somebody is telling us respect yourself. And keep on pushing, or whatever generation you came from where that was the music. So, you know, I can't quote all of Public Enemy. I was on the label with them. I was standing right next to them. I don't have to quote, but I know what they was fighting, the powers that was beating. So I'm just saying, you know, we lose ourselves when we don't allow ourselves, when we lose ourselves, when we let ourselves die, we let our music die. The music that now I hear as R&B, I don't find it to be full of rhythm or blues. I don't find it to be rhythm. I don't find it to have any. I don't find it to have any rhythm or blues in it, and that's what it's supposed to be, R&B.
Right.
Who don't see it?
So, Johnny, high heels and high places.
I'm over here playing with the camera.
That's all right. Listen.
High heels and high places. Wow. Just the name, that I think that name is very self-explanatory. These are women that are doing extraordinary things in their careers, whether they're singers, songwriters, they could be lawyers, they could be doctors, they could be personal trainers, they could be in construction, they could be architects, they could be whatever they want to be, but they have excelled in their careers. And so we have some exciting women. Tanya Butler, who is the first woman of any background. She's not the first Black, but she's definitely the first woman to head up the music business program at Berklee College of Music. So we're very excited to have her. Lita Rosario, amazing attorney out of DC. She also practices in New York. What I love about Lita, which is actually when I met her, Lita sued Universal Records on behalf of Drew Hill and won. So it's like she's a high heel in my eyes.
Yeah,
and, Miss Karen Murray, who you may have if you've ever been to Radio City Music Hall during the Rockettes and when they're the Voice here. Is Karen, and she's also the voice of the Black Information Network. So she's a voice actor, and you hear her voice in a lot of places. You may not know it's her, but just to hear their career stories and to hear them share with us is going to be very empowering. It's going to, I believe, just teach a lot of I can. Oh, I didn't know a Black woman did that. Oh, I didn't know. So we're hoping that via just that seminar alone, that it becomes very a teaching moment, that you see where Black women are excelling in so many different areas. It's real easy to pinpoint us in one place. And so what we're trying to say, we're way beyond that. We're totally way beyond that.
And of course, our
industries that we excel in, and that's why we call them high heels in high places.
High places. And of course, our dear friend Tony St. James is moderating one of the panels.
Yeah, Tony is moderating Unbought and Unbossed.
Johnny, can you tell us about, we know that we've got 3 days and people need to purchase tickets to register and what have you. Are all the seminars happening at the same time? Because one of the things you all tried to do was make it as easily accessible and interactive as possible. I know I'm on at 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Right.
Tell me what about the other days and the time?
Well, we got.
Thank you, Allison. I was just getting to that.
Okay, I was writing some things down. I'm sorry, Michelle. I do know that this is your show, your interview. I want you to understand that. But if I don't ask my questions, they'll fly right out of my ear. I can't hold water. It's crazy. So I have to interject. That was a selfish thing for me. I just needed to know, and I knew
you were on a need-to-know basis, right?
Need to know.
So the first thing.
Go ahead, girl.
Seminars. We have 10 seminars. And one of the things that I did not want I didn't want any seminar competing with another seminar because I felt that the information that we're sharing needs to have its select time. So tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, which is our kickoff. Hello, welcome. Come on in and join us. We have a little welcome reception, but we will be sitting down and talking with Miss Novi Brown, who is Sabrina on Tyler Perry's Sisters. So she'll be talking about Black women in Hollywood, Black women in film, Black women, the difficulty of getting roles and just, having, being the Ruby D of this area, because, they was out there for a very long time.
For a long time,
a lot of
yes.
the actresses, sometimes they seem to come and go. But she's just going to talk about her journey being a Black actress in Hollywood. And then we kick things off on Friday morning with the Black chefs. It was my desire to communicate that Black people that cook are not soul food cooks, okay? We do more than fried chicken, catfish, and make macaroni and cheese. Okay?
What time will that happen on Friday, Johnny?
But say, Allison, I have a need to know.
I need to know. I've got to write this stuff down. You all understand.
Listen, that's at 10 o'clock Eastern on Friday.
A.M.
Yeah, so you'll have time to get up, get a cup of coffee, and then get comfortable for, it is called Culinary Soul.
Love it.
The Black chef. Because like I said, they do more than fried chicken and catfish. So following that, right after that, each seminar is about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
We built in an additional 15 minutes just in case it get good and y'all want to keep on talking. But each seminar is an hour and 15 minutes. We'll come out of that and go into networking and relationships because we feel like it's very important. I tell people all the time, don't sleep on networking. Networking is your silent partner in this game. Yeah. It is not who you know. It is who knows you and what you can do. And if you don't build good, strong, solid relationships, as Clarence Avant said one time, who can you call?
Yep.
Who can you call?
And he's the master. Right.
If
who can you pick up the phone and talk to?
Somebody that you can call, okay, you're in a lot of trouble. You have not built a relationship that what you're doing, like Allison called me, I'm in Hawaii, I'm on the beach, I'm chilling. She's like, I need a list. Who can you call? It's all about relationships, networking. We'll come out of that. We have, and I'm not looking at the schedule right now. I just would invite everybody to go to our website and click speakers. You'll see it right there. NABFE, NABFE.org. Click speakers. They're all lined up there per their time and the seminar that they're speaking on. We have Black Health and COVID-19. We have Dr. Arabia Molan, who is an emergency room doctor there in New York. And she's taking time from what we know has got to be a crazy day to come and share information about COVID-19, about the vaccine, why she feels it's important for us to be vaccinated, and that whole myth in the early days of Black people didn't get
COVID. Couldn't get COVID.
That people are saying she's going to be there to dispel many
all
of
those myths. Yes.
We're talking about diluting urban. And I chose that because, first of all, they call our music urban. Now, they've never changed theirs. They've been pop since
right.
They've been country for 100 years. We've been R&B, we've been soul, we've been Black.
Urban,
contemporary,
contemporary
urban music,
soul,
hip hop soul.
They call us all kind of names. So,
we've been every color of the rainbow.
Everything.
So what we've done with this particular panel is we have Ray Harris. Ray Harris represents, I would say, from Nina Simone to Prince. He don't work with some of everybody. So
absolutely.
Sarah to say Lester Pace, who's the senior vice president at Rock Nation right now. We have, who else do we have? We have Sharita Britnam, who's over at RCA now. So we're just mixing a plethora of minds to talk about our music, our culture. Why does our music grow, but the people that are pushing the buttons, the people that are controlling it, seems to diminish? So it's like Black music rises, but the Black music executive seems to be fading away. There's very few Black music divisions the way that it used to be. And so we just want to approach that. Again, we just have quite a few, what I think are very important subjects that we're tackling. We have a seminar called Women, Equality, and the Social Justice Movement.
Mm.
We feel that loss of life with anybody is tragic. And for the men that lost their lives at the hands of police or whomever, very tragic, very tragic. And the whole Up Black Lives Matter, that movement, very necessary. But we just want people to stop and look at the women, Black women,
Yes.
that have lost their lives. That is equally as important. We should be as outraged if we were angry, so angry about Derek Chauvin keeping his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 46
9
seconds.
minutes. Yeah.
We should be equally angry that Breonna Taylor was at home and bothering nobody
in her bed,
and you break in her house and kill her. So,
or that horrible piece of footage about a woman. I think she got stopped on the side of the road or whatever, and the next thing you know, the police is on top of her, just pounding on her, just sitting on her and pounding on her.
Yeah.
What was that? What did you do to deserve that?
Exactly. So
other than be yourself.
Social justice. We have some activists. We have actually 2 activists. We have Miss Leslie Matthews, who is in Hawaii, but she's was the first, if I'm correct, and I'm sure she'll correct me tomorrow if I say it wrong tonight, but the only Black female prosecutor in the entire Hawaiian Islands.
Wow.
So,
wow.
That one is going to be very, very powerful because we're just saying, hey, the outrage should be just as great, like Allison just said. What did I do to deserve this? And then if you go through that, we have Black women that are missing. We have Black women that have been victimized. We have Black women that have been assaulted. And of course, we have Black women that are dead. And it's just no outcry. There's no outrage about it. So we want to address that. Just again, please go to our website at NAMFE.org, click speakers, and just check out who's speaking on the various panels that we have lined up, or seminars that we have lined up. And just quickly, although Allison has already told you about it, but quickly, I think it's very important to understand the power and the significance of the female artist. Back in the day when I was a DJ, it was like you couldn't play 2 women back to back.
Right. Right.
So ridiculous. So many things that I think that as we have come up in this industry, they're just absolutely ridiculous. But that was the mantra. That's the way it was. And they always would say, well, Black women, the female artist doesn't sell. She's not gonna pack the venue. I guess she ain't if you don't promote it.
Right.
Right.
We wanted to show that. That's why we say, "Women Who Jam." I am the songs that I sing and the music that I create. And it's very significant, very, very significant. And so we wanted to show the significance of the female artist and that she's no longer standing on the outside,
right,
end of what you call a male-dominated industry. It may be, but we have a sound, we have a voice, we have a place, and we have significance.
And guess what? We sell tickets.
We sell tickets. Come on.
We sell tickets.
And some of us do it without having to scrape our private parts on the ground.
Okay, here she come with the
I said it.
She like, oh, is it just a WAP affair here?
I'm just trying to tell you, there's some perfectly good accolades, trophies, and awards that I'm supposed to be getting. And I know I can sing, and I still look halfway decent for 60, but here it is. I haven't quite bent over in front of the camera. So what am I waiting for?
Well,
apparently that's what's good.
Wow.
It's
saying.
It's amazing.
WSME.org. This is a learning, this seminar, it is the International Women's Leadership Summit. This summit is a learning platform. We are going to be teaching, we are going to be empowering, we are going to be embracing, we are going to be hugging virtually. It is our way of connecting, sharing information, and sharing knowledge, and teaching as many people as we can via our experiences. I like to always say that what we do at NAMFE is pull the curtain back on the Black experience in entertainment. And I say that because, I do get women of other cultures that will say, well, is it just for Black women? Can only Black women?
No. This is all inclusive. This is an all-inclusive situation.
Because it's a teachable thing, right? It's a teachable moment so that you know how to move forward. and not stick to or don't know anything about a culture or make all these assumptions.
This is your time to learn.
It is
time to understand. Like I said, it is a learning platform for cultural understanding for women everywhere. We got women that have registered in Canada. We have a team in Lagos, Nigeria. We got some sisters posting about the conference in Jamaica. Now we haven't started as a network over there, but I'm looking forward to it because they have got.
So that's one, Johnny. That's not hard
Johnny
to think
is
about,
always
right?
good to get. Johnny's gonna get some frequent flyer points and a vacation out of it. Do you hear me?
At the same time,
she's about the destination. Where are we going?
Here we go, man. Here we go.
I just wanted to add. I was very blessed to be mentored by many positive, strong women in my life, starting with my mother. But Dr. Maya Angelou would always teach, when you give, when you learn, teach. And that's what NAMFE does. And it's an opportunity to, like Johnny said, it's about inclusiveness. Yes. I'm not saying, I don't want anybody to take my last statement as I'm angry or I got a bone to pick. Everybody gets into the spotlight and spends their 15 minutes there doing what they are gifted to do.
Yes. Yes.
Having said that, I say everybody can learn something when you see what the different opportunities are, when you see the whole situation, not just half of it. Don't just see one thing. Just don't see the top and don't see the bottom. Don't just see the bottom and don't see the top. Got to see the middle. You got to see it from all sides. And so that's what NAMFE gives a chance to do. And with the information that is given, with the information that is consumed, you can make your choices then on just what side of the board you're going to be on.
All right. That's the last word.
That's the best word.
That's the best word, right? The last one's usually the best anyway, right?
We're going to make some good choices, and the choices are going to be to continue to soar and strive for excellence as we as Black women do what it is that we do, which is always magical.
We always do. We always matter.
It's an iron sharpens iron. So
absolutely.
That's right.
Come aboard and let's sharpen each other.
Yes.
I got a match. You got some wood. Let's start a fire.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what we want to do this weekend. We want to love, embrace, teach. Like you said, when you give, when you learn, teach. It's our responsibility when we get to a certain place to reach back and bring another sister along. Next thing, when you see a sister really do, don't say who does she think she is. High five that girl. Give her a high five. You go, sister. I got your back. I'm right here with you. Let's support each other. Women supporting women. Women empowering women. And to my brothers listening right now, listen, we don't ostracize the men. We got some strong brothers that's in this organization. We call them the rocks. The NAMFE rocks. We say they rocks because they rock solid, hard, and we can lean on them. They support us. They empower us. Man, Melvin Coleman and those guys down at the Atlanta Black Chambers, man, they've been working so hard. I thought they started NAMFE harder. They've been working. So we got some really cool guys. David Dinkins, those guys. We got some cool guys that really support us, and we are so extremely appreciative of them. And I say that just like I want everybody to know, we are a community of achievers. And so if you believe in the mission of this organization, come on aboard and please register for the summit. Come listen and learn.
Absolutely. And with that said, ladies, thank you so much for coming in. Allison, for being my co-host. Johnny Walker, as usual, always dynamic and on point. Johnny Walker is the founder of NAMFE.
She got it now.
It is having its International Women's Summit this weekend, the 16th to the 18th. The First Lady of Def Jam, Allison Williams, is on a panel on Saturday. And we want you to come in, get refreshed, learn some things, bring it back out into the community, and help some other women.
Yes.
That's what it's about. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate your time and energy. And this has been The Collective right here on WSME Enlightenment Radio, digital broadcasting. Night, night.